Okay, so I'm going to walk us through how to set up midwinter in Aplos. So the first thing you do is create an event. Seems easy. I'll walk us through all these steps here. You can see past events down here. Unfortunately, there is no way to duplicate this event at this moment, which is kind of a pain because you have to recreate everything every time. But hopefully, that's coming down the line. So, first thing we'll do is click create an event, the plus button, and you have your event here. We'll fill it all out. Bear with me. Remember, you can always pause and skip this video. And I usually just call it the same thing just to keep it easy. All right, and then our start date. Let me double check our start date for that. It is going to be February 9th. And I usually say it starts at 7 p.m. It's traditionally when we've done it. The end date will be February 11th, and that's usually 10 a.m. Okay, registration. We're obviously going to have it go live early. We want it to go so you could. It usually kind of defaults to the day before, and the close date. I usually put it a week out before the day, just so everybody can get in. 12:59 p.m. Physical location. This is already in there, but you'll see. Oh, hang on, got to get rid of it. Camp Caroline is in there already. Number of seats, 100 seems to be pretty good. You could obviously upgrade that if you want to. We also do have a cancellation policy. Okay, sorry about that. Our cancellation policy is this: no refunds will be issued unless extenuating circumstances exist. All refunds will be less $25 to account for processing fees and previously purchased material for the trip based on your initial registration. Obviously, this is all based on circumstantial stuff, but that is typically what we say, especially with high school. In the fall, we'll get they want to go to the football game or prom hit, and we've already bought their supplies. So that's usually where that came from. So every screen, I usually just scroll up, click save, creates it there. Then you're under branding. You can upload a file, or you can click close, select from library. We have got a few in here. I usually just kind of click one. These can obviously be updated. Excuse me. Let's go with a nice group photo. That's a little young. Let's see what these guys. I love it. The summer camp one. Still call it the same thing. CYF midwinter. You can give it any sort of detail you wish. And I have this kind of verbiage which is saved in other events. You can copy in there, and it looks like this. The T-shirt doesn't exist this time. We always include the camp covenant. And then we also include this line down here about the gender safe living accommodations, the which we use the cottages, and we also have the spot down here that if you attend here, you allow us to use your pictures and everything on Facebook just by attending. So get that in there. That'll be nice and close. You see that kind of populates in there. And then I come down here and add in Camp Caroline to each of those for the social media post. And as always, I click save. Okay. Notice I haven't hit publish yet. At any point, you can click preview, exit, come back to it. It'll save as is. So then we go to tickets. This is where it gets tricky. So for the tickets, we have two options. And I usually do one here. They're both paid tickets. So you have a default one in there. We'll delete that one in a second. This is just for the general information for students. Camper information. This is just the regular camper. And I usually make this, whatever it is, 100 of them. Doesn't really matter. Seats included. You just want one. They can only buy kind of one at a time. Or they can only put one person per purchase. So if they pay for one ticket, they can only put one purchase here. Here, though, they can purchase multiple. I assume most siblings and churches won't have more than 10 coming. So you keep that in mind. Then you've got to find the CYF youth one. There are a lot of purposes. This is very important because it's important that these get selected correctly. If I can't, there we go. See what I have for treats. There's your purpose. Okay, here is the big piece. This ticket right here, this will be available, as you can see, the start date tomorrow or yesterday, and then the end date February 2nd. The price of the ticket for a regular person is $95. We also have to put the fair market value because that makes it something to do with accounting. That's what's required. So please keep that in mind. So you can see there, and you can make different price levels. I don't ever mess with that for this purpose here. And then we go into the ticket, and this is where it gets a little tedious, and I'll walk you through this whole thing. But I usually, let me get all this stuff in there. So this is kind of where it becomes a pain, and you may just want to scrub through this one, but I'm going to keep it recording just so you can see. So we have first name, last name, camper email address. So we don't need that. These are going to be the names of your campers. Okay, so that's important. This is information for your campers. Their information will come in later as an adult. And then I usually add it in like this, camper email address. You can see, click the box. We don't necessarily have email addresses for all our campers, so I usually kind of scroll that up. Give me a second. Let me get my thing out of the way here. Okay. So you can see first name, last name, camper email address, phone, and address, and then we just have a bunch more we have to add. Current grade, and I will create a screenshot of this afterwards. Then we have gender. There is unfortunately no way to multiply select this. Hopefully this is getting improved. So bear with me. Camper birthday. And I will show you one more thing after I get all these in case anything else pops up that you need to address and you want to add into one of these custom fields. So what I'm doing now is adding all of the custom fields that we need to collect per insurance or camping reasons. So these are like drug allergies, food allergies, medicine needed, insurance information. So the key here is to really keep this simple. I've been encouraging people over the years that if you really don't need it, don't have it, because otherwise it is just exhausting. We still have this thing where Advil, I guess it's easier, but we're in a day and age where it might just be easier to call and ask for permission on these things. This is just really my thoughts on this video as I go in and add all of these things. We've inherited a lot of these from over the years from previous camps. I've amended some. I've taken some off that I've gotten permission to, but some of them I haven't messed with. One of these being these medicines. And you notice that every time I'm clicking required, it makes them put in something if they were required. So actually, now that I'm saying that out loud, we don't usually require the dietary request because they don't necessarily need it. To just kind of show that we don't actually require any of those because they are all kind of opt-in, if you will. So then we have the prescriptions, and that's usually for emergencies if they have to go to the hospital or something. We are about 75% of the way there. Then I have to add in the insurance carrier. That is required. The policy number, this is required. And then we add in the emergency contact information. So hopefully these are not parents. Hopefully these are, grandparents or older siblings or somebody that can come in. And these obviously need to be required because it'll collect the information of the parents when they register. And we obviously have the camper information, emergency relation to camper. And then if you'd like to, we usually add the choose up to 3 people. If you want to request people to stay, what church do you attend? This is a way that we can have kind of a general idea of where people are coming. And then this is the key. Down here, promo code. This exists solely for St. Paul's, pretty much. St. Paul's has an endowment that pays their fees for all campers. And so I give them a special code, and then I can filter out the spreadsheet. And by doing that, I can see that St. Paul's sent 7 campers, and then I contact St. Paul's and they send a check into the region or pay online. So those are all the ones you need. I will provide the screenshot of those, and then you just click create and close, right? That's ticket number 1, all right? The beautiful part about this is that you have to add in RCYW for this one. So we go into another ticket again, and we do this one more time. So I will add in RCYW camper, RCYW only. Usually, if I know, I would put the amount, like if there's 15 members of RCYW, I would put 15 so we can kind of keep it that way. So you get the idea there. When we go down to CYF, even though this is RCYW, we don't put RCYW because it's a CYF retreat. You can still see the same thing. And this is a discount of $20. And then we have to go do all of the same things again. And just to show you right here, you could add that price level. We don't do it like this for RCW because anybody can just click this. Hopefully there's a little more honesty by creating 2 different tickets. And again, we go through and we add all of that stuff again. So just bear with me as I do it. Like I said, I wish there was an easier way to do this, but there is not at this moment. It is coming along though. So let me get all this in. And it occurred to me that there is a possibility that you could have duplicated the ticket, but you guys can just shuffle right past this video. It'll be totally fine. In fact, I'm going to pause the recording now and just create this again. Okay, I'm back. You can see we have 2 tickets. All right. So the key here is to avoid any confusion. I usually check this right here. Allow 1 ticket type per registrant. The reason we do that is because it just gets a little confusing on the accounting end if somebody registers a camper and an RCYW camper. So I did want to go back in here and show you guys one quick thing that when you come over to the tickets, I will go in and show you how if you want to add in additional promo fields, because you can't add them in this window. So just kind of keep that in mind. You have to create any additional custom fields previously to an event, and they'll pop up in the menu. But also, all of the custom fields ever made show up every time. And so the beautiful thing about Aplos is that it's in the cloud. So what I typically do is have 2 monitors up or 2 screens. I'll have Aplos. I'll have the 2023 midwinter up in one screen, and I'm just kind of copying that information to 2024 so I can have both of those events up. So just keep that in mind. So you can see everything here. You can see the 2 tickets pop up. $95, $75 just kind of gives you a preview of what you're looking at. Always click save. Before I really go any further, I just kind of go back in and check to make sure we're all good on everything. Everything's looking right. It really does look good. 2024 tickets were good. We double checked those. So the payments, payment is also crucial. ACH payments are just paying from your checking account. So we allow those. We allow credit card payments. And allow registration to be completed without payment. I usually do this because of St. Paul's. This allows St. Paul's to register without paying. The problem with this is that people always register without paying. They don't go to St. Paul's, and then we have to chase them down. So I do think that is something that we should address. Perhaps it is just having a whole separate event set up for St. Paul's, or encouraging St. Paul's to refund their campers. That's what I've done for every other church. So in the meantime, we check this, and that'll be something as a region that you guys would want to figure out. So also, just because I allow people to make a donation, because sometimes they're giving and it's awesome. And I usually just do Camp Caroline operating gifts. That's kind of like the general budget. Obviously, you could change that to whatever you wanted. This is where it would be cool if you did a donation. You could do a fundraiser for, new rocking chairs when we used to do the polar plunge. You could create a purpose for that. So that's there. So saved. And then we come over here and click publish. And that bad boy is now live. You can see it changed from unpublished, and we can always preview it. But I'm just recording this tab so you can. And I come back here and you can see that I have CYF Midwinter, Nobody's registered. We have 200 tickets available because I had created 100 tickets for campers and 100 tickets for RSOW, but really we only have 100 spots. You can change these numbers at any point. Here's where you would add some custom fields if you wanted to figure out your events field custom. You can see we have all of these in here. I would highly recommend staying on top of these, meaning that if you don't need one, you don't need to use one, get rid of it. So just kind of keep that in mind. And if you ever wanted to add one, it's pretty simple. You would just do it there, and there are multiple options on how you could do that. They are very much still in the process of figuring out events. But this is how you would create one event for a youth retreat, and this would pretty much be the format you would follow for all further events.